Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Real Missing Piece Preview Week. And today is Walk with Jesus Wednesday. And I'm excited for this week because we're focused on the overflow. And Candace didn't want to say it, but it was like she went from overwhelm to overflow. And so we're just changing the O word and making it a happy O word. I know, like, I have kids, so they say like things like the F word and all that stuff. And I was like, what is the F word? And I don't think they really know the F word, but they think they're cool when it's the F word. But we're talking about the O word, and I don't know where your mind goes with that, but we are going into overflow, and we are also starting the Overflow 23 challenge. Um, I was kind of surprised when Candace said this yesterday, but I was excited and interested in what was to come. And I did that before this call, and it was really good. So if you're not part of the Overflow 23 challenge, you can join. When you see this, you text Overflow 23 to 850-888-5182. And today, what stood out in the video to me, we're going to talk about a lot of different things, but I want to have this open part. This was supposed to be on YouTube Live, but we're gonna have this whole call on it, and then I'll let you know when we go backstage. Was God's is setting the table for us, and God's preparing the table, and we're watching. I don't know if you're watching it, but I'm not giving it away because it's in the Bible already. Watching The Chosen, and the amazing part to me was when they didn't know what their upper room was or where it was in Jerusalem, but they Jesus knew. He was like, "Go to this place and you'll find a boy with a vase." And he boys don't really have vases. Women go get the water. So he was the only boy with the vase, and then follow him home, talk to the master of the house. And so that was the place of the upper room. But before that, the boy had a dream that he was carrying a vase, that he had a dream of this place, this house, or this upper room, that he had to have his dad buy this house. And his dad bought the house because he had that vision. So I'm totally a visual person, and I like to envision things, or if something, I have a lot of deja vu too. It's kind of, it freaks me out, but it's something that I was like, okay, this is kind of weird that I've seen this before, but I never like would take action towards it. But now knowing that we have that power, or we're given those visions, is has been pretty cool. So the the thing I wanted to talk about on this YouTube live part was God setting the table. So that table was set for everyone. And what is God setting a table in your life? Is God setting you up for success? And I would say the answer is yes. But I wanted to show you something really cool. I'm going to unblur my background. Oh, I don't have a blur. I don't know if you're going to see this. But let me take out the video. I don't even have that. Okay. So I hope you could see this, but this is a vision board that I made in January of this year. And it was with my team, network marketing team in Arizona. If you don't know, that I lost, or I don't want to say that, I got let go from my job in October 2024. And I also do network marketing with Monate. And so this was like our team retreat, and we did vision boards. And I love doing vision boards because I have a, a lot of them here too. So because I'm an artist too at the same time. So this table is right here. I was like, why am I being drawn to tables? I was being drawn to tables at every single like thing. I have old people here too, young people. And then I was like, I just want to grow old and have fun. That's kind of where I went here. Loving how you live, real people, the new look. But look, there's a table there, and there's a table here. Ugh. I'll share a picture in the Facebook group because I was like, I have to share this table today because the table, this table on the back was set like with food, with plates, with wine, beautiful candles, and I was like, I want that table in my house. And I just rearranged the furniture in my house to have our dining table more prominent because I was like, we like to be at the table together, so I want it to be in more prominent place. So, is God setting the table in your life, and why do you like what? These are questions that I would go to. Is like, why did God have a Last Supper with all the disciples? Why? I'm the curious one and would ask all these questions, and because I think the answers that we get are going to be answers that help our 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 things in our life, our issues in our life. Is God setting the table? So I want you to think about that deeply today, or like not. I guess you don't have to go deeply, but as you're driving, as you're doing whatever you need to do. I'm doing some laundry, I'm doing dishes all the same time. As you're doing that stuff, is what table is God setting for you? And here at the Real Missing Piece, we are setting that table for you to come sit at and just be in closer relationship with God. And I'm so excited for the future of the Real Missing Piece, because I know everything is just going to go into overflow drive, and we're just going to keep going. And it's just a place where you belong before you believe. We've always said that. If you don't think God's setting a table for you, I'm going to tell you He is. And if that table needs to be here, can be like a virtual table, not even a real table, but what is He setting up in your life to come with the overflow? And those are like the questions that are going through my head, and I hope that's why I want to share it with all of you. So now we are going to go backstage. We just want to keep our stuff short here, but we're going to dive deeper uh, into this Last Supper, because part of the Last Supper was Jesus going into the Garden of Gethsemane. And I was like so excited for this part. I was like, babe, He's gonna go to them 3 times and he's gonna see them sleeping. And I was like, I can tell you what happens. I was so excited for that part of it. And um, during this whole part of like, he was going into the garden, praying, having his time. And I noticed that he goes alone a lot. He goes alone a lot. And they're like, where's Jesus? Where's Jesus? Like, he's always praying. He's always doing something to like to make sure he's grounded and he's doing God's work. And so into that, some of this is seek God's are you seeking God's will, or are you seeking your own will? I think that's another question that we have to do with our daily decisions, not doing the laundry and not doing all that stuff, but in bigger decisions in our life, are we seeking God's will? Why are we Another thing I talked to my husband about is like, why are we seeking struggles and why are we seeking all these other things when we don't have to? God made this life for us. Do you think the birds, this is also part of our conversation, do you think the birds are seeking struggle? They're going to be like, oh my God, what if that hawk comes over here? And like, they're not seeking that. They're just enjoying their life. And yes, if a hawk comes, it's their will. but, um, but yeah, I think it's something that we can think about even further. So, Jesus surrender. When I first heard the word surrender, and Candace, we were just talking about it, I was like, what? You want me to be weak? You want me to let go of every single thing that I've been holding on to all of my life? Like, you want me to let go? I'm 40 years old now, and you want me to let go of all of that. I believe that for 40 years, and you want me to let go? You want me to surrender that? I was like, no, I don't think so, Candace. But I think as we kept talking about the word surrender, as we kept talking about like what is on the other side of surrender, like knowing Jesus' story, that he was saying, that he was like, my Father, if it's possible, may this cup be taken from me, yet I will, yet not, I don't know why I have this version, yet not as I will, but as you will. Like, if God, if Jesus knew that God was going to crucify him, go through all, Jesus knew this was all going to happen, and he was going to be risen up in 3 days. But he had to go through the hard. He was like, God, I surrender, but I don't know. It's hard. I don't know why it's so hard for me to surrender, but because it's gonna hurt. He's gonna get cruised, like he gets flogged. He gets, that's not even in the chosen yet. Like we haven't even seen the hard part, and knowing that Jesus knew that it's all gonna be good because he's gonna rise again. He's gonna save everyone. And what if when we surrender, it's gonna be the hard part. That's gonna be the hard part. But the result of the surrender is God's goodness. God's goodness, God's overflow, all the things that like we've been praying for, all of the things like are there. Would you surrender today in the chat? Would you surrender if God's goodness was on the other side? I think it's just like, it's so hard as a human because we don't want to hurt, and we don't want our children to hurt. We don't want people in our lives. I'm getting goosebumps. We don't want people in our lives to hurt. So we don't want to go through that. We don't want to surrender. Like I will, if my kids had to, like, okay, so here's a perfect example because I put my kids in water polo, introduction to water polo. And if you know water polo, which I saw it on the Olympics, and I never played sports and I never did that stuff. I did dancing and stuff. And which is a sport. But water polo is a tough sport. They are basically running in the water. They have to use their abs and do all this stuff. And my kids, they play volleyball. They are, to me, athletic in all their ways. But they were having a tough time in this class. And they're doing freestyles all the way back and forth. And then they're pushing the ball, and then they're throwing the ball. And my daughter was like, she's crying. She wants to give up. And like the mom heart in me, I was like, okay, like I wanted to make it better for her. Like I wanted to be like, it's okay, you cannot do this. It's okay, like, but my husband, the other side of it, who's more athletic, who did the sports, who did all the things, he's like, yeah, she has to grow through this. She has to experience this. And I'm like, but does she really? It's summertime and all the things. Like that's the part, like I think I had to share and had to go through. I was like, okay, I can trust that this class it's not the end of the world. She's not going to die from it. Like she's safe and all the things, but she'll learn if she likes it or not. She will get stronger in doing that freestyle. And whatever comes of it is God's will, right? Whatever comes of that situation is God's will. So if there's a situation in your life right now where you're like, but I don't want it to hurt. I don't want it to hurt. It's not going to be that bad if at the end of it it's God's will, God's goodness. And I think then we go into, I'm reading through, trust him with all our burdens and find true rest. Like surrender isn't striving, it's handing over our heavy loads. Come to me, the Beatitudes. Come to me, all who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am a gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest in your souls, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So my thing about the yoke, I thought it was like something that just one person holds. But yesterday I learned, I don't know where I learned this. I think it was in the YouVersion app, that a yoke is an even thing. It's like a wooden plank that I read. I should have took a screenshot of it. It's a wooden plank where people are carrying burdens or carrying the load. So there's two. So God is saying, I am with you. And if you're tired, give it to me and I will still carry you. And to me, that's different than a leash, a yoke on your neck that you're not like God telling us that there's a yoke here that he can help carry the load and we can carry each other's load and walk together. That that's game changer for me because then okay, I don't have to worry about the water, like water polo. Like, but whatever your burden is, he's saying, give it to me and I'll hold it and I'll walk with you. But he's not saying like, don't walk with me. He's saying like, let's go together and we can do this together. I'm just picturing um the the two cattle and going together like this in a circle with whatever they're doing, but like they're carrying each other's load. So another part is like let go of the worry. God knows what you need. Part of the surrender is trusting God's provision. That's why like Jesus was in that garden, like trusting God's provision. Even though it was so hard, he's like like we didn't never in the whole thing, I don't think we ever saw Jesus surrender like that. And that's why I was like, this is so powerful because he knows it's gonna happen. And I feel like I felt that in my life in certain moments that like please like even just okay, I'm talking about first world problems. So finding a parking spot at the beach, I was like, dude, I can't, I've been circling this place for 15 minutes. What am I trying like what's going on? God help me in this situation. Or like I was like, um I'm going to leave. I'm gonna go pick up my kids and we're gonna leave if uh we're not meant to be here. And then guess what happens? I turn the corner and a parking lot spot opened up. Like has that happened in your life where you're like, I surrender and everything just comes and overflows? I'm I'm sure that's happened in your life somewhere. Put in the chat if it has. I want to know your miracles. And so, uh, I think I just. Oh, here. So the other part is Matthew 6:31-33. So don't worry, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we wear? For the pagans run after these things. For your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all things will be given to you as well. Like knowing that we don't have to this was a game changer for me of like knowing that the birds don't have to seek like they have to seek it but they know there's food and knowing that there's drink because God provided it. Like why are we different from that? Like yes, there's food insecurity in the world and yes, people go through hard times. But like if you're in a place where you have food, have drink, like this reminds me of like wanting to lose weight and wanting to like drink enough water. Like we have the like if we didn't have that worry attached to it, we would just drink it. We would just eat it. Like detach the worry from all the things. Like even wearing clothes, like what should I wear for this life? The clothes are right there. So, but if we're seeking him first and seeking the kingdom, that's that's the key. And then abide in him and bear fruit. Apart from him, you can do nothing. This is the heart posture of surrender, dependence on him. Like I know that been sharing different things in text messages and all those things is like, I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. And just knowing that he is the vine, like we don't have to hold that vine. We don't have to do all that. He's just saying, come to me and you will bear much fruit. So in this invitation, in this walk with Jesus, I'm glad that we got to walk with Jesus or be with Jesus in that Garden of Gethsemane and be in that room for the Last Supper or set the table or know that God's setting the table. I think it's like we need to lay down our agendas, and agendas could be, this happened to me so many times. I freaked out at about the my schedules, like all the things happening in a certain time, and because the kids have different sports and all the things, but like God knew, like he can make that happen. He took something away, he made something happen. So just follow what God's saying to you, and if you're not hearing him, I think you have to surrender. That's the thing. And but also trust that, like Jesus trusted that he was going to save everyone, save all the sinners, provide salvation, raise rise from the dead after 3 days. Like he knew. So like keep trusting, and then let him carry your burdens. That yoke visual, like that was a game changer for me yesterday. Um, and let him carry your burdens. Like, yes, do it. Like he wants the burdens because he doesn't want you to feel them. Seek his kingdom first, just like, yeah, so seek his kingdom first and then stay connected to him, knowing your life overflows from him. So if you aren't part of the Overflow 23 challenge, join us in that Overflow 23 challenge. Um, we are excited for these text messages coming out to you because we know that it reaches you and that we get to be by your side when you're walking with Jesus. So we're excited to keep the real missing piece flow going. And our podcast, YouTube, drops on Friday. Tomorrow we have our collective activation call, and excited to activate our ambassadors. And we will end with a prayer. And and I saw something today. It's like, pray, believe, receive. Pray, believe, receive. If you pray and believe, you will receive God's goodness. And I think that's what we're all about here at The Real Missing Piece. But the first thing is to pray. And that is one thing that I was not used to. So I'm just being vulnerable here, knowing that, like, I'm not the prayer warrior, but I'll be like, oh yeah, I'll pray for you. But then I didn't know how to do that. So now I'm forcing myself to pray. So, dear God, so open it up with like, hello, God. Thank you for this call today. Thank you for walking with Jesus live. And I hope this gets to all the people that need it. And I hope that people know that you're setting a table for them and that they can feel at home with you and feel comfort with you. Let people's hearts be open to surrender, which is hard in the human world, but let's have their hearts be open to surrender and continuing to surrender to your goodness and trust your goodness is coming. And I hope everyone just prays, believes, receives. I hope that everyone knows that prayer is the first step. And thank you for blessing The Real Missing Piece and its community. And we can't wait to see what comes in the future. In Jesus' name, amen. All right.